Okay guys, so I haven't done a garden tour for a while, so I decided maybe I should do one now. Alright, so as you can see, I have made a little bit of adjustments here and trying to beautify my garden area. So here I have some plants here. I have some ginger lilies. I have one on the outer edge and another one on the outer edge over here. I have a white here, I have a red, and in between I have some crotons growing here to kind of beautify and give it some color and so forth. I also made myself a nice little garden sign that I have here. So actually I moved my garden sign, so sometimes I would have it hanging here and other times I would have it hanging here. So let's get the string to pull. There you go. So sometimes I would also put it here as well. So my husband got someone to build me a proper garden gate here, because unfortunately the one that I had before, which was actually a gate that I had made years ago, I had actually make it for here. I had made that gate for here, so it was very old. But we subsequently got this one fabricated with wrought iron, and the other one that I had here, when I had made a temporary block around here, we had used that gate. Because it was so old, you know, the wood had rotted at some points, but we had, my husband had decided he will use that old gate for the time being for here, actually hoping that the dog would not, you know, try to jump the gate. Well, a few weeks ago, that's exactly what she did. After a few months, with her not doing it, she did it a few weeks ago, and again, got into my garden here. I had an emitter here. She threw that up, damaged, whatever. So anyway, we had to get a proper gate done, which is tall enough. And so I wanted to beautify this gate because my kitchen is like, my kitchen is right there. So when I look out, I can see the garden. And I was seeing the beautiful garden gate because I painted it. These lats here, guys, are actually reused wood. This is really old fencing that we had for our fence. That, you know, some of it was rotted and so forth. But anyway, when you put a coat of paint, you won't even know that this is reused, right? And this is like, I don't know, really old, like how many years, over a decade or whatever. Anyway, so I wanted to put a sign. When I was looking out my kitchen window, I was looking at the gate. I found it looked so pretty after I painted it. And I was like, you know what? It would look really cool if I put a sign like St. Laura's Garden. And so I decided to make a sign. So that's why I said sometimes I would put it here so that when I look out my kitchen window, I could see it. Or sometimes I put it where I showed you over there, so that as I'm walking toward the garden, I can see the sign. So this is my other garden gate that goes in here. So let's go to this part of the garden and see what's going on here. Like I said, I haven't showed you guys this for such a long time, right? Okay, what do we have here? Well, on this side, guys, I have my bush beans that are growing. Now, what's interesting about here is that I initially had put down maybe maybe about 8 seeds here, and they all did not germinate, which turned out to be a good thing, because those that germinated, which is, I think, 1, 2, 4, look how it has taken up this whole section. You see that? It has taken up the whole section. And guys, it's coming along nicely. Look, you can see the little bush beans coming out. Look at this one here, guys. You see that? Yep. Look at that. You see it? We have nice little flowers and we see little bush beans. So I am so pleased with this, guys. I am so pleased with this. It is flowering. It looks nice and healthy. It is thriving right here. What I would tell you, you know what, miss? I'm going to use my little chair. See? And I'm going to sit. Okay. So let's put it up so you can see. Okay, so I did a couple of different projects here. Well, I wouldn't say a couple. I did one project here. The project was I installed a drip irrigation system, guys. I installed it myself. All the installation that you see here was done by me. Why did I do that? Well, because as you guys know, I do have ISD, which is where my heart rate is high, and so when I do garden activities, depending on what I do, I'm out of breath. It takes a lot out of me. So my philosophy is work smart, but not hard. I don't want to give up gardening completely because I love to see things grow. Like just the feeling, guys, of seeing this little bush bean here and seeing the flowers, that brings me so much joy. So by putting a drip irrigation system in, it takes away that time for me having to stand up or go and be walking up and down with a watering can, you know, or having to pull the hose, and you know, I don't have to deal with that. And it's automated. I have the system automated. I've got timer thread. And how I designed this was that this elevated bed is connected to, because this is I have two sections. I have the elevated bed. So this elevated bed is like a U. Okay, you see it goes all the way around. And then I have now my container garden, which is out here. Okay, so it goes all the way around and it makes an L. So I put a cutoff valve here so that if I only want to water my containers, which is in the back there, which you can see here, and I don't want the elevated bed watered at that point, maybe because it, you know, it had enough water and I don't need to water it again, I have the two zones sectioned off, so to speak. So I can water the containers alone if I want, by turning off that check valve there. Or I also put a check valve on the ground here that if I only want to water these plants and I don't want to water those, I can turn it off, right? So the beauty of this, guys, is that, like I said, I can just leave it automated and it does its thing. I also got fertilizer, or you could say fertigation, as a kit, a system that I can connect to my irrigation, and it will also fertilize my garden at the same time. I moved it from here and I have it in my other garden on the other side. Is this a ladybug? I think that's a ladybug, guys. I think I see a little baby ladybug there. You see that thing? Oh, can you see if I zoom in? Can you see that? I think that's a baby ladybug. That's good. I want to see them in my garden. They eat the aphids. All right. So yeah. So this is my setup here. The automated timer is really cool, guys, because I'm able to, if there was rain and I want to delay the scheduled time, I can do that. I can also override the system, and if I want to do a manual watering, I can do that as well. So that's cool. All right, so we have the bush beans here, as you can see. Over here I have dwarf tomatoes growing. This one has started to flower, so hopefully very soon we get some cherry tomatoes. I had another plant here, but it is dying. I noticed this yesterday. I don't know why. I don't know what has happened, but unfortunately I'm losing this one. But this one seems to be coming along nicely, so let's hope it progresses that way. This here, guys, is an edible plant, but I did trim it down because it was sort of casting, creating too much, or rather blocking the sun from some of the other, from the tomatoes. So I trimmed it down, but this is what you call shining bush or Peperoma pellucida. So here I have another dwarf tomato here, and here I have another dwarf tomato here, right? In this bed here I have ginger growing, and this is a bell pepper plant that is also growing here. I already harvested a few small bell peppers from this plant. And what I did last week is I also put a cucumber in the corner here, and I'm hoping to have it run on that fencing in the back there, right? Guys, I don't know if you remember the story with this bed. Remember, I did a video where I showed you guys I had put on Chinese cabbage here. Guess what? Didn't get any. So what I did was put down some lettuce that I had germinated from seed, and I realized keeping the bed open was not a good idea because there's a resident lizard that lives, is really huge. He always comes, I'm not seeing him now, but he likes to come and watch me. He stays right there, he will watch me. Whatever else was attacking my, that had destroyed my Chinese cabbage, I was like, nope, we're not gonna have that happen with the lettuce. So what I did was put back on my insect netting, and since then, as you can see, they have been doing well, okay? And you can see my drip irrigation lines through the netting there. So we have that going on here. On this section here, I have some herbs. I can have some parsley. I also have ginger green here as well. See, one of the ginger there. This here is another herb section. Just about 3 days ago, I had a rosemary in a milk tin, and I didn't like how it was looking. I decided to put it here. I'm hoping that it does catch itself. So we will see how that goes. Yesterday, I think I put this zinnia to grow here. This is dill that I have here. So some parsley. And I did stick in a broccoli here as well to see what will happen. In here, again, I had to cover it to protect it from the nursery. This is, I didn't start these from seed. This is from the nursery. I bought some pak choi, and I have planted them underneath here, and I covered it again to protect it. So it is getting bigger from when I did plant it, so that's good. And remember in one of my videos, guys, I had showed you that I had planted some peanuts. I did an experiment. Well, we have 2 peanut plants growing here. And so far they're still alive, so that's a good thing. Let me show it to you. Oh, I have the wood there. Okay, so I have 2 peanut plants growing here. This is one here, and this is the other one here, right? So hopefully, guys, one day, hopefully, oh, there's a lizard in here. Yeah, let's leave you there. Lizard eats, they eat flies and so forth, so that's good. Did I have a, I'm trying to remember if I had a post pin onto this netting here. All right. So that's what we have. Also have some lettuce underneath there as well, guys. But I have it covered so that it gets a chance to grow nicely and not be attacked by all these things that like to attack your food. This section here, I have arugula. I harvested a whole lot of arugula here. I gave it a haircut about 2 days ago. So everything looks sparse now, but this had a lot of arugula. Again, this is shining bush or Peperoma pellucida. Remember guys, I told you this is an edible plant, so sometimes I put it in my egg, or you can eat it raw. You can chip it up in your salad when you're cutting up your arugula. You can cut up some of this as well. And I also put a dwarf tomato plant to grow on this side here as well. So this, I'll get some tomatoes here, get my arugula, get my shining bush. I also have some lettuce here, so I've been picking some of the leaves. I did put some spring onions here, guys. This was store-bought, where I had put the roots in. So that's what you have here. They're not growing so thick anymore, very thin, but I cut pieces off of it when I need to put it in my egg. I do that. I also had put another dwarf tomato in the back here as well. Okay. And I also put a zinnia in the corner here too. Right. On the ground here, I have an aloe plant, and this is a pepper plant here. This is, oh my goodness, I've seen a lot of aphids. I need to deal with this situation. Look at that. There's ants and aphids. These ants are so relentless. Look at that, guys. You see that? So relentless in bringing these aphids. All right, I'm going to have to probably use some water and blast that off. All right, so let's move now to this part of the garden. This video is very long, guys. I hope you bear with me. Okay, so here I have, let's adjust this. Okay, so here I have, this is a poblano pepper plant that I have growing right here. I don't have any peppers on it at this point in time. In the back there's an aloe. In this pot here, maybe I should zoom in. In this pot here I have a broccoli. The one behind I have cucumber. This here I think is yam. In this pot here is a lettuce. I have the outer leaves already. This is a herb. It's called Panadol bush. You use it to season meat. In the back there I have seasoning pepper grain. In the pot that also has, there's also a sweet potato vine growing out of it, and I harvest the leaves to cook with. In this pot here I have a Chinese cabbage, which I have been harvesting the outer leaves. There's also a vanilla vine that I have here. I got from a friend, and I noticed it has started to climb up the grapefruit tree. I was trying to train it to do that, so hopefully one day I get some vanilla beans. Here in this pot I have some dill, and in this pot I have spring onions. This one here is called Wonder of the World. This plant here, guys, is called Wonder of the World. Again, this is another edible. This leaf is edible, so I will just pick a piece and I will wash it and I will chew it up just like that. Yeah. Down here, I had no space to put a tomato plant in my in-ground garden, so I just decided to put it in this pot and put it over here. Hopefully, I'm able to get it to grow, even if it passes this rod. Maybe I could tie it onto the tree here and get some tomatoes out of it. But that's the tomato there. In this pot here, I have, this is a herb. You can make tea with it. Right now, it's not coming to me. I also put a yam in here, and this here is long bean. So when it starts to vine, I will have it run on the fence here and get long beans. This here, guys, is a passion fruit. So again, I have it so that it will be able to run on the fence here. This is a pepper. This is yam again. This is another pepper here. And as you can see, guys, I have my emitters here, my drip emitters. So again, I don't have to worry about pulling a hose or using a watering can. It's done automatically. Here I have a zucchini in this pot. This here is lemongrass. This is a cucumber here that I put 2 weeks ago, I think. This one here is a pepper plant. This is another cucumber plant that I have here, and I just noticed there's one cucumber here. It's a female too, but I'm not seeing any male flowers. Now I can't remember if this cucumber plant that I put here, if it's what they call pathin or carpic, where it is it doesn't need a male flower to pollinate. I can't remember. But I also put another one next to it, which I got from the nursery here. So this is not going to be a self-pollinating plant. Though they tell you you're not supposed to put 2 of them together, because if they cross-pollinate, then this one will need a male flower to fertilize it. But I am seeing baby cucumbers coming out, so that is good. I thought this was going to die when I had first put it in. All right, so we have here another pepper plant. We have another pepper plant here. This is ginger growing in here. Another pepper, cucumber. This is the passion fruit. I have 2 passion fruit plants. So this is the other one. This is another pepper. This is sweet potato, which I harvested this morning so I could process the leaves. What I did was process it by washing it, cutting it up, boiling it for a few minutes, throwing out the water, allowing it to cool, and then I freeze it. Why do I do that? You don't have to do that if you're not prone to kidney stones. You don't need to do the boiling process first, because I'm prone to kidney stones because sweet potatoes are high in oxalates. Anything that's high in oxalates, like spinach, sweet potato, purslane. Purslane is also high in oxalates. What I do is I will boil it first for a few minutes. Then I will throw out that water and then store it for usage, so that when I cook with it, I have reduced the amount of oxalates that is in it. This is a seasoning pepper plant that I have here. So guys, that's this part of the garden. I have finally given you all a garden tour of this side of the garden. This is me looking at everything now from this vantage point. Wait, let's see if we can zoom out. There you go. So now this is where we were first when we started. And I'm on the other side of the garden here, where I have all the my container plants, right? And as you can see, the grapefruit tree, look at it, guys. The grapefruit tree is bearing grapefruit. See, look at the size of this grapefruit here. Where is it now? Where you go? You're right over there. See that? Come on. There you go. All right, let's head over to the other side of the garden. So we move from this side of the garden now to this side of the garden. What do we have here, guys? Okay. I have some butternut squash growing in these pots here. So these 3 pots here have some butternut squash growing. I did put some initially and it died, so I had to put more seeds again. Hopefully these continue to grow. Okay, so we have 3 of them, and the intention, which I have done in the past, is have it run up here, and then I have butternut squash growing. And this is what I call my food wall, even though I don't have much things running on it, right? Okay, but that was the intention. So I have for the butternut squash, and then I'll take you over there and show you what else I have for the food wall. This part of the garden here, so I decided now to put a menagerie of different things here. I wanted this to be like almost like a herb bed, a miscellaneous bed, a flower bed. So this is probably Tanya growing here. I'm not even sure. but I probably put on some scrubs and it's growing. I have no problem with that. I also noticed that there's a ginger growing up here as well. I had just broadcast some flower seeds and I'm seeing some of them have germinated. So like the zinnias I had showed you guys over there in the elevator bed, it's because I had broadcast the seeds here. So they didn't really take root properly. So that's why I moved them and put them in different spots of the garden so they can grow properly and give me some nice flowers. I also had put some lettuce down here as well. So there's some lettuce here and there are different herbs. I have a nasturtium growing here. I also had put a broccoli in here. So we have zinnias. I just see some local spinach growing up there, which of course I didn't plant. But these things, the seeds are in the soil. I have different types of basil here. So I have sweet basil and I have, I think it might be holy basil that I also have here. And I also have some of the shadowbenny plants that a friend had given me and I planted it here and it has caught itself, so it's growing up as well. Okay, so that is this part of the garden. This is again one of the world, very healthy plant. In the corner here I have Thai basil. Okay, and here is my tomato patch. Okay, so this is where I have all my tomato plants growing. It's growing. I tie it on to the, well, I have the string here and I wrap it around the string. So I bury the string and then I wrap the tomato plant around it all the way up and it is hooked at the top there. I hope these come along nicely. You know, it wasn't looking, it was looking good, but then at one point I was a little fearful that I was going to lose the plant, but so far it's still growing and I'm now noticing here where flowers are going to come out. Let's move that away. So this is a good sign. So hopefully I do get some tomatoes from these plants, okay? So I have different stages. So I have these older ones here, and then I have these younger tomatoes here. We have different stages of tomatoes. In between or in the middle of the tomatoes, I have some marigolds. I have sweet basil. This is another marigold there. So I have put marigolds in the middle and I have put some sweet basil as well. This is another sweet basil plant here. Now in the middle here, guys, I dug a hole and I put a milk tin and I was putting food scraps in it. Oh, you're not seeing it. Hold on. This is the milk tin here. And I put some fruit scraps in it. So, wait, let's not zoom out. I want to do this. There you go. So, I have these in different parts of the garden where I have these tins and where I put food scraps and then cover it up with soil. So, actually, because of the fruit scraps, there is another yam plant growing here. So it found itself to the stick that I had here and it's connected itself. I'm just leaving it. Okay, so look, this is another, this is probably a sweet potato. This plant here, guys, is probably a sweet potato skin that I had thrown here when I was putting the scraps in the tin. And look, it is growing a plant. So again, look, I'm just going to leave it. Alright, this, however, I'm not going to leave. This is actually going to grow up into a tree. This is the seeds from, I think, one of the pui trees. So we don't want it. That's a huge, gigantic tree. Could pull that one out. But as you can see, I have tomatoes at different stages, right? Look, another one right in front of you here. So these are going to come up after these bigger ones here, right? This is a snake plant, as we have here. And on this side, I'm just trying to flip around. This here is a broccoli plant that I have growing here. Let me start up. This is a purple plant that is growing here. I did not put it there. Oh, look at this. There's a dark lizard that is watching me. The seeds from that pawpaw tree there somehow got here, and it's a plant growing here. I have to pull it out, but I will leave it for the time being because I do eat the leaves. I take a little piece and chew it up. It's extremely bitter, but the purple leaves is very good for making sure your blood platelet count is adequate. So if ever you have dengue, and you know your blood count drops when you have dengue fever, you can chew up some papaya leaves, and that will help to bring up your blood count. Okay. So yeah, we have broccoli here. I just put a pepper in this morning. This pepper was in one of these pots here, and I said, time to come out the pot, let me put you in the ground. I have tomatoes growing in these pots here. I have no space for them, so I'm just going to allow them to grow in these pots. If any of these die, then I have backup plants, right? So in this pot here, I have a lettuce. This one is a lettuce again. I've harvested the outer leaves already. I do have a bell pepper growing here. That's another bell pepper plant growing there. These are all tomatoes, plants that I had germinated from seed. But the thing about it, I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out, and I went ahead to the nursery and I bought some seedlings. Now I have no space for these, and they did germinate and they're doing okay. So again, we will leave it, let it grow here, and if any of these over here die, well, we have replacements. Okay, this is a lettuce growing in this pot here. So when I was pruning this tomato plant, I saw a sucker, and I decided, let me 3 suckers. I have stuck it into these three pots here for it to root, so that I will have sort of like a bigger mature plant. If anything happens to these, again, I have backup plants. 2 zinnias growing in these pots, and those zinnias I took from that patch. Remember the patch I said over there? I stuck them in here so that they will grow. I have 2 flowers here. One is what is it? I'm not sure, can't remember. But one is a zinnia and the other one, I can't remember what it is. I did stick a broccoli here. So this is small broccoli that I have put here. And this here is a broccoli plant. I did not get a head from it, but I've been harvesting the leaves and I've been cooking the leaves. So I've been still eating it. So yes, I didn't get a head, but I'm still benefiting from it. This here is a Brussels sprout plant that is growing up here. I've been harvesting it, and I've also been cooking the leaves as well. And this here is an offshoot, I think, from the Brussels sprout. Yeah, the root. The Brussels sprout has started to grow 2 extra plants. Imagine that. I put some nasturtiums, 1 nasturtium here and a zinnia in the middle here that I got from the patch. This is some an old bell pepper plant that I have here. There's another one that I have here. And this is a pot here. I have a cilantro growing. This, I think, is another broccoli. Just this morning, I put the seasoning pepper in the back here because I really have no space for it. I didn't know where to put it. So I stuck it here next to this dying kale plant. This plant here is a long bean. So the intention is for it to run on my food wall, and I will have long beans. So you notice it's starting to put out its little vine there. So when it gets long enough, we'll attach it to the food wall and have long beans. This is a combination of some seasoning peppers that I have here. So like this. This is a seasoning pepper here. This is one here. This one here. This is one here. I'll put some flowers. This is a zinnia here. And on this side, I have a combination of cabbages, I think, and broccoli. I think. Can't remember. But I think I mixed it up. Cabbages and broccoli is on this side here. Like the both sides, I have them running that way. And in the middle, I put some zinnia. In that pot, I had put a cucumber a few days ago. In the back there, I had an extra passion fruit plant, and I decided, let me put it there so it will run up on the food wall. And if you look there, guys, you see that huge lizard. There's a huge lizard that is. There's a huge lizard there, guys. That is watching. Can you see it? Maybe I have to walk a little closer. This here's another broccoli plant. Again, I harvest the leaves. We have a sweet basil here. I have a rosemary here. This is a cauliflower I have here. This is the what's the name of this? It's a herb, you make tea with it. I can't remember the names, they're coming to me now. This is another cauliflower plant. You know how long I had these cauliflower plants waiting for these cauliflower plants to produce a head? And it has not done so as yet. I don't know if it will, but patience is virtue. Virtue is grace, so let's wait to see. Of course, you can also eat the leaves of it, so I also have been sauteing the leaves as well. This is my hibiscus plant. The flowers were open a few days ago, and well, as you can see, today it's closed. And here we have big leaf thyme, or Mexican oregano as the other name. And I did stick a broccoli here as well, which is next to that passion fruit vine. And we do have another wonder of the world growing. So guys, like I said, you have not seen my garden for a long while. But this is what we have going on in the garden as of date. It's a long video, guys. And I still haven't showed you my greenhouse garden. So let's get to that. Right here in this little greenhouse, I have some plants that I germinated from seed, and as you can see, they're coming up nicely. So this is a tomato, 2 tomatoes here. And these are 2 cucumbers. So when I see some bigger true leaves, I'll put these cucumbers in the greenhouse upstairs. This I have some Chinese cabbage. My intention is to grow these hydroponically. And this here is oregano, the herb. I had a plant, so I decided to take some cuttings from the plant and try to root it in some soil. So hopefully it catches, and then I'll be able to get more plants to put in my garden. Over here I have a rosemary plant here. This is a 1-gallon pot. It's doing okay. So this is my rosemary here. Over here I have where I have seeds that I put to germinate. So this is what's going on here. These seeds have to germinate. So let's head upstairs to the greenhouse. All right, headed to the greenhouse. You see this coming out of the greenhouse here, guys? This is a pumpkin vine. I've decided I would try to grow a pumpkin up here. And I'll have it run so I can have the pumpkin patch out here. The pot is inside the greenhouse, and I just trimmed the vine to come outside. This is the pumpkin here. It's an experiment that I decided that I will give it a try. Okay, so we have that. Over here, we have, in this pot here, I have a cucumber. I lost all the other cucumbers that I had here, guys. Remember I had cucumber? I got actually a white fly infestation in here, and it killed all my cucumbers. Sorry guys, I'm out of breath because of coming up the stairs. This here is a seasoning pepper plant that I have growing here. This is another pepper plant. It's not looking that healthy. So there's a pepper plant that I saw growing in one of the pots that I had actually sown some sage, which is a herb, seeds. But the soil that I had used was soil that I had thrown out with some, I had put like peppers to germinate and nothing germinated. So I just threw everything in a trough and used the same soil to pack another container to germinate some other seeds. Well, guess what? The old seeds that were from the previous growing period, some of them have started to germinate in the soil with what I did not have named. So for example, I have sage and I'm seeing a pepper plant coming out of the sage. So if that pepper plant does well, this one is what we call a runt. It doesn't look healthy. I'm going to take this one out and I'll put the pepper plant there in this spot. This here is kale. This is where I had a cucumber that died. This is pepper plants here. This is another cucumber that died. Pepper plant here again. Pepper plant, cucumber. Here I have spring onions in these pots here. Here I have 3 Chinese cabbages. This was a cucumber. It died. I decided, you know what? I'm losing too many of the cucumbers. So I said, you know what, let me try to grow some hydroponically and change. Instead of put a cucumber here, I'll put Chinese cabbage. So I have that here. In this pot here, there's a pepper plant. This is a dwarf tomato here. Here I have a broccoli. This is my fertigation system, so it fertilizes and irrigates at the same time. This is a pepper plant. This is an okra. This is another pepper plant. And these are 2 hydroponic buckets that I have here. So I have 4 dwarf tomatoes growing in this one. Broccoli growing in that one behind there. Here, these 2 hydroponic buckets, I have 2 different tomato plants growing here. These are peppers. This is a cayenne pepper here, and these are bell peppers that I have growing in these hydroponic buckets. And remember I told you I decided I will try to grow some cucumbers hydroponically. So this is my 2 cucumber plants that I put in here yesterday to grow hydroponically. This morning I set up this little trellis system so that the cucumbers can run on this, and I will have to train it to go in that direction. So yeah, so that's what we have going on here, guys, in the greenhouse. Hopefully I get a pumpkin from this pumpkin vine, and hopefully these other plants do well. So that's my updated tour, guys. Like I said, I haven't shown you guys what has been going on for a while, so I decided I will do a little tour. All right, well, see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.